Oh, what the fudge and popsicle. Um, Technical difficulties over on the Rumble, which is streaming through a lot of different other sites. So forgive that. Uh, Decided to make a very special video celebrating uh birthday of Tupac. You know, King Day, the No King's Day was right before his birthday. Maybe they're trying to hate. And you can blame my bias on being a king myself. Um, I'm the king of the struggle. If you didn't know, but I had to earn that position. It's you can't say it's handed down. But uh, yeah, I was at the King Day event over the weekend, and it was just a few red flags. I mean, it was beautiful to see all those people coming out, with purpose. But yeah, I was questioning some of the speakers. It was very reminiscent of when COVID first hit. It was like there were like these organizations having these events, but then instead of like protesting shit like mandates, they were just like justifying it, like, oh, we need to have easier access to vaccines. All right. But at the No King's Day event I went to, they were like, instead of talking about why we should have healthcare for all, being, they were like promoting programs that are, they're like, we got to save trans kids. Uh, and it was talking about poor connection over here. See, are we back on? But yeah, it was like anytime an organization my whole position has always been healthcare is a right. Uh, get all of the for-profit uh, businesses that should be where the criminals should be locked up. I was trying to save the United Healthcare CEO because I've been trying to lock him up for a minute because I knew the guillotine folks is like right around the corner. But it's just the No Kings. It was also like someone got killed, and then they had like No Kings on their whole thing. The killer just mysteriously put No Kings, just like they had like two Zionists killed, and then like the killer said free Palestine. And then the news media is making it seem like anybody who says free Palestine wants to kill people. And then they're using that as pretext for silencing dissent. Uh, that is quite concerning. I mean, I've had my dissent silenced for over a decade at this point. But now a lot of other people are waking up to it, and it's just I think you guys already know. You really want to adjudicate this matter, free speech. Y'all got to give me $11 billion for each billion for each year I was silenced. We can get a lawsuit going, get Google to pay, um, and I will see to it that we got like a movement that is like not only organized, but I can build the infrastructure for a lot of this stuff. Like I'll look at Elaine Brown. She's a beautiful, graceful mentor of mine. I mean, I came across her 2 times, but she impacted me like nobody's business. But she was the last leader of the Black Panthers. And last year they opened up something called Black Panther Housing, where she ended up getting like $80 million from like being harassed and attacked by state officials. And she used that money to build housing for needy people. And that was like, she got 80 billion and it went to the people. Um, so yeah, that would be my what I will pull from, for when I need to show grounds for law having being passed. But um, we get 11 billion. I wouldn't even need that. I can live off the interest of that. That would be for the people. I would just put it in a fund when we get uh, Edward Snowden and Julian Assange jobs going after the people who took them down. So just make that start trending. Netflix 11 billion. We get that going. I mean, I feel like it's as good as counted right now. So thank you for that. That's the true way to getting rid of the kings. Um, but I I was touched. I was impressed by the number of people at the No Kings event. Um, but I was also just like, I I feel like that it will be more effective if you get people involved in day to day stuff, showing up for the tangibles. Like uh, man, first getting rid of everybody who's in office, anybody who's overseeing genocide. Like, let's give them to the countries for them to decide what to do with them. Like whatever jurisdiction uh, uh, they preside by. Some people they have absolutely no death, so all war criminals won't be killed. But maybe they get a few years. But then they got some like America where the death penalty is still operates. But I don't know. I don't want to discuss the possibilities. I want to get rid of the death penalty, even when we start putting oligarchs in the prisons. And it's just a lot of the ideas would be. I feel like uh, uh, a day like what was it, the No Kings Day? I feel like we could have been building on actual local movements, getting people involved and consistently showing up to like put pressure on people to actually see change. But it was just like a lot of people, they have that shit that my brother has, where it's just like it's this one person. It's like Donald Trump over there. Not They haven't been building up a system that's been just gradually getting tighter and tighter around your throat. It's just this one person. He got in, and he's the problem. Like is, in my opinion, that's very childish thinking. So childish to get choked up on it. But I did run into several people with that. I ran into some very interesting, diverse background people. Um, but yeah, it's just so certain things like I view movements getting hijacked by um, people in power. It's just like when we were protesting against companies like Pfizer, Moderna, all these motherfuckers like profiteering off of our healthcare, trying to put them out of business. And then all of a sudden, these organizations, it's like you got to have a vaccine to show up and organize. Seems like the shit was co-opted. Whenever you hear an organization is getting a bunch of money, it's usually that. It's like whatever you thought they were, it's like they got paid off to be something else. And it's just having a little more insight on how some of these institutions work. It's just like we just got to rip that shit up by the root. We build our own shit, something that makes sense. I mean, a lot of it is just like Denmark. They kicked uh, McDonald's out of the country. So you're like, oh my God, they're missing Big Macs and the quarter pounders with heart disease and whatever. But they ended up just replacing it with like locally sourced everything. So the food was fresher, it was supporting local economy, and it was cheaper, better in every way. It's just like we should be doing that. When I grew up, we had a bunch of um locally owned spots that became like the what my area was known for. You know, it's like you go to the people who have the quality stuff, and you saw a lot of amazing quality local stuff. Then everything, like it was like a break I took when I moved to LA for a spell. Um, and then I came back like 7 years later, and it was like it was a totally new place. Uh, it just like my city looked just like any other city that you'll come across. It's the same fucking Taco Bell and whatever the fucks. It's just Walmart's, KFC's ear to ear. But yeah, and it's just like the new kings, the like it's just like no creativity. It's just like just think of fancy new ways to poison us, limit our ability for actual choice, and it's just like so absurd the way they go about doing it. Um, it's just like we have a bunch of protections, um, ways of subsidizing American business that we've used for a South African colonizer, the only African American uh, Trump is willing to go to bat for. Um, another descendant of just colonial exploits, uh, and you know, like a self-made billionaire. Yeah, they got a loan of a couple million from dad. Dear old dad gave him like some startup capital, but they earned their $1 billion. Um, and it's just like Elon Musk. He was inventing the electric car. He was diligently working on it ever since he was a kid. Or he just was rich as fuck and he bought money and he invested in PayPal when it was first starting, and then he created a, a government monopoly, government sanctioned monopoly, where it's just like just this cohesion between these private entities and the government. It makes it like all one big tentacle that's like digging into your pockets, able to shut your shit down. You might say I'm bitter because yes, they targeted my money. Yes, you see me in a video saying send some money to my PayPal. Ignore that shit. They ended that account. But it's like, yeah, all these people in some people's minds, they were created, like they were the good guy. Um, I'm forgiven because I understand people's confusion. Like I remember when Trump broke up USAID, right? That was like they were talking about all the waste in there, and like we're going to end that. People are excited, and I'm like, I'm surprised that he did it. Kamala, she would acknowledge that that's a problem. Aid, U.S. aid, what's wrong with aid? Because she's also a tool of the CIA. Um, like she's, like brainwashed and manipulated into thinking they're elite, really elite parasites, um, apex parasites. Um, but yeah, it was just like Trump going after USAID. At least, I mean, it sounded like rational, like something you can get excited for. But I'm like, my opinion, I've always thought Trump was horrible. I just never voted for him, and I thought the Democrats were worse. So that's like not like a dichotomy that I want to be a part of. Um, but uh, Trump could at least acknowledge when there's an issue. And I think him acknowledging that and doing away with USAID It got people excited, like, oh my God, they're going to stop with the overthrowing of these countries. I never thought that, because I was like, yeah, of course they're going to get rid of USAID, because other countries have realized it's some bullshit. They're going to rebrand the empire. They're going to change up their tactics a little bit. And all of this shit, it was I think Wesley Clark, like back in 2002, he was talking about like how they were doing this build up to the war, how they were going to be like, they had 7 countries targeted for regime change, and the coup de grace was supposed to be Iran. Now they're focusing on Iran, Israel, the colonizer states. They seek to disrupt the Iranian history that precedes anything in Europe. And so Europeans were like a baby, like they actually helped the Europeans get out of the Dark Ages. But they want to overthrow all of that history. They overthrew the democratically elected Iranian government to install one of their puppets, because they want someone to control all that shit, destroy all the historic land areas, destroy their history, burn it down, create like this whole thing where like we were abiding by the Gregorian calendar, and history starts with the Greeks and Romans, something about Egyptians and aliens. I like to call Egypt Kemet, because it was Kemet a lot longer than it was Egypt. It became Egypt when the Greeks discovered it. And the area we know as ancient Greek or Egypt, Jordan, Palestine, Sudan, like Kemet was bigger than all of that. It was like I don't abide by the Sykes and Picos lines. That's the colonizers who carved up the world as we know it currently. And it's one of the reasons I take a great deal of umbrage to anyone who's against what's going on in Palestine and Israel. Like, you're disgusted by their government. They call you anti-Semitic. Anti-Semitic. That's like being mad at the pilgrims for killing the Indians who just taught them how to feed themselves. And you call out their shenanigans, and then they say, "Oh, it's because you hate Christians." It's like, I hate the behavior, I hate the entitlement, the violence that you use as a tool. When the ends is for someone else's land, someone else's livelihood, and it's just I like to focus on events like that. Ooh, this shenanigans afoot. If you can't hear the background, it's very distracting. But but yeah, employee evaluations, those are going to be at nateflix.net. If you want the newer ones, it's at rumble.com/nateflix. If you want the largest back catalog of the older ones, it's over at odyssey.com/@nateflix. And all that is subject. I'm gonna figure out a way of organizing them better. Because right now it's like you got to go in and do a search, and then it just pops up. I was like, but it just takes a long time, because I would have to rewatch the shit, and just. But I do want to categorize. And if you watch it on Rumble, my Rumble page, like, I got some older videos on there But if it was an ad in the video, like it was a sponsored video, I cut out the part where I was uh, tap dancing for them extra dollars. No, I get no ads on that one. So yeah, it's something to be mindful of. But I appreciate you guys showing up. Um, yeah, I'll try to get to an earlier schedule. I noticed it was um, it's a peak time is like 5 o'clock, but you know how life comes at you. Get caught off guard. I'm like, organizing space, and I just still working out the feng shui. So that's going to be on the way. And um, yeah, I got. I think I may have mentioned this in a previous event, but I was offered a space for uh, with the upcoming opportunity. It's going to be resources that I was bringing in other artists and people who are building the same world, and I'll have I'm gonna do something with that. I'm gonna get someone to film the event, and yeah. So I might have like some special giveaways coming up for you. So I'll let you know as I get to know what I have available to me. So you guys be good to each other, and recognize the king in you, the royalty, the king, queen, whatever. Oh, and I was about to say something, but that's just another video. Talk to you guys later. Peace.